Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, Staying Clean. And today we're going to talk about connecting with people in our recovery, when we're in our recovery. You know, in our active addiction, we was caught out there, and the only connection we had basically was with the people that used and abused drugs like we did. And our socialization was very, very different than regular people and what was going on, how people conduct themselves in regular life with friends and connecting and doing things together. But in active addiction, it's completely different. The only friend you had in active addiction was the drug or the drink. Yes, that was your friend. Everybody else was noise and confusion. They were basically a means to an end in our addiction. But as we worked into our recovery and we learned how we destroyed our lives in our active addiction, how we've changed our behavior, and we faced the fears that we did not want to face in our active addiction, which caused us to use in the first place, and we've changed our behavior and we worked the steps, we've completed the steps, and we have created a life in recovery. And life is good, more than we expected it. But the interesting thing is now we have to learn how to connect with people in recovery, whether they used to use, and they're in recovery, or they're just normal people living their lives the way they choose to. And in order to connect with other people on living on life's terms, we have to be good with ourselves and our position in our recovery. We have to be good with ourselves. We got to be happy the life that we've created in our recovery. We got to feel good about the direction that we're going. We got to feel good and grateful for what recovery has done for us. That it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It doesn't matter what other people have, that we're good with ourselves and what we have, and we're moving forward to make our lives better. And if we have that kind of frame of mind, then when we introduce and we meeting people, we're in a good spirit. We're not looking at them and saying, I wish I had what they had. No, we're good with where we're at. But if we want to make our lives better, then we make steps to make our lives better. But we don't search out to go for the things that another person has. Because we know that we have to satisfy our own wants and needs and understand why we feel a certain way and why we act a certain way. Recovery taught us to pay attention to ourselves. So if we look at a person, they got a real nice car, we wish we had a nice car like that. We should look at it as they have a nice car. Now we want something like that. But now let's do our research and find out that is it attainable for us in our current situation, our financial situation. And if it's not, then what can we do to achieve this goal of getting this car? And is it that important to our well-being and our lifestyle that we choose to live? We must ask ourselves. Then we have to ask ourselves, the amount of time that we have to pay for this, is it worth having? And taking ourselves through this extra work, 5, 8, 10, 12 hours a week just to pay for it, just to keep the normal lifestyle that you choose to live. something to think about. But what recovery taught me is that Robert has to live life on life's terms, his life on his terms. Number one, I have to look at my income, see what I can and cannot do. I must accept that. Now, if I want to make that situation better, then it's up to me to make steps to move forward in that manner to make it better. And then I must look at the needs and the wants. The needs have to be met. The wants, well, we work on that. We can't get everything that we want. We can't have everything that we want to have. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. People think that it works that way, and they kill themselves trying to give themselves the wants, and they destroy themselves and they wear themselves down until they really don't get a chance to enjoy their old age or living life on life's terms, because they work themselves to the bone trying to have something that will depreciate in value in time. So, recovery taught me to live life on life's terms and understand what I can and cannot do. And it also teaches me that if my income is one way and I want to make it another, then I must look at my situation and look at what I can and cannot do and how I can make more money to make my life better. And then also I must understand that if another person has more than what I have, I am happy for that person. And I can listen to that person and see what type of moves they made to create the wealth that they have. And I just don't apply what they give me because they have it and they got to this point, because I learned in recovery that everybody's walk is their own. So what's good for them may not work for me, but I want what they have, so I'm going to try their method. So I need to look back at each situation, learn from what they've done, how they created what they have, put it in my mind, in my bank as information stored in my mind, and I go to another situation and learn from that person, and learn from that person, and then learn from that person, and learn from that person. And then I take all the information that I receive from all the people that give me information to make money, to make my life better, and find out and look at things and look at what would work for me, what is my vision, and how shall I go by attaining my vision. How can I obtain my vision? Well, one thing is I have to learn new information about where the direction I want to go. I need to learn everything I possibly can before I make a sound decision on the direction I'm going. And it's the same thing when we meet people. We meet people, we may hit it off right away, and just because you hit it up, you don't let them all the way into your personal world. You get to know a person. You talk to them, you conversate, you spend a little time with them. Let them share about themselves. And as your spirit feels comfortable in their presence and being around them, your spirit, your inside spirit feels comfortable, then you can let them further in. Learn some more about them. But you got to understand that each person is different. The way they choose to look at life and to live their life, and what they believe in and what they feel that this is their type of direction that they should go to live their best life. And when you become a friend, you have to respect a person's viewpoint, the direction that they're going, whether you like it or not. If you feel like that's not for you, then you say, well, no, that may work for you, but I can't do that because that's not me. That's against everything that I stand for. So no, I can't do that. But if it works for you, then it works for you. And you have to accept people for the choices that they make. But the interesting thing about recovery, that if it's against my recovery, then I can't associate with you because you're putting me in danger. It's just like I know people that are in active addiction, and I don't associate with them. I would try to check on them sometimes to see if they still breathing, if they still okay, or what's going on with them. Uh, this one particular person, yeah, I'll be checking on him. He's like my brother, but he's still living, but he's in active addiction and hasn't changed his colors in the last 2 years. So that's it. I love him, but I can't live the life that he lives because it destroyed me, and I choose not to go down that path. But it doesn't stop me from loving him and being concerned about his welfare. So I do send out feelers to find out how he's doing and what's going on, to get information about him. But I know that nobody can get better unless they choose to make the decision to get better themselves. No matter what I say or do or give to them, it's totally up to them to change their behavior. Just like it was totally up to me to choose recovery. So I know in being in recovery that I have no problem sharing that I've been in active addiction for 40 years. And I tell people that, yeah, I was high and I was doing Neil, and I share some of the things with them, and I share about recovery, And what I noticed that most people that I share this information with is that they are willing to share their pain too. And they get a chance to talk to me about things that bother them or that's going on with them. They're very forthgiving about their information about themselves. And it's a good thing because it's something about recovery that people truly respect in the real world. But there's also a lot of people that feel that, oh, yeah, man, you're supposed to keep that a secret. And that's true. You can do that. That's your prerogative. That's your situation. You choose to do your recovery the way you do it. But I know me, I'm as sick as my secrets. And if I'm keeping a secret about recovery, it's just like I was in my addiction. I tried to keep that a secret, which was a lie because everybody knew. So I don't have no problems in sharing about recovery. And it's a beautiful thing. And also, people that appreciate people in recovery or understand about addiction and stuff, they'll flock around you or they'll talk to you. But those who are in active addiction, those who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they don't want to have their attitude changes as defensive right away. And I know that they're doing something that they don't want to do, but they don't want to own up to it, and they don't want to change their behavior. So this is why they're defensive about the situation. I remember I was at Banner MDN Cancer Center in Gilbert, Arizona, for my physical therapy because I had prostate cancer. And I gave this gentleman a flyer about my YouTube channel, Positive Stroke, Staying Clean, The Power of Addiction, and Fun and Motivational Thoughts. And well, I talked about a little bit about recovery and addiction, and he shared a few things. And I gave him the flyer, and we talked about some other things, and I walked away. And like 5 minutes later, he come over to me. I don't need this. I'm good. I'm say, okay. You have a great day. Very defensive, but the conversation wasn't defensive. And that's a form of, I believe, was guilt on his part that he was experiencing for himself because I overcome what he's going through. And he's very on the defensive because he hasn't made up his mind to change his behavior to try something different. And me sharing about recovery and saying that I'm in recovery, it protects me and I protect myself by saying that. And I let people know where I'm coming from. And that's living life on life's terms. I tell people that if you like it, I love it. If it's good for you and you feel it's good for you, then I'm happy for you. But this is my way of life, the way I see fit to live my life, and I choose to. And I don't feel bad like I'm missing something because you're doing something that I can't do. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. I don't get upset because you're doing something that I would like to do, but I can't do. And it's the same thing. You might have a friend that goes on a trip, spends 2 weeks and do all these extravagant things and buy these things and have a good time. And yeah, it's fantastic. And you want to do the same thing, but you're not financially stable to do these things. But the desire's there. And you want it badly because you feel like they're doing better than you and they're bragging and you want to. It doesn't matter what they're doing. If that's their choice in life and they're enjoying it, so fine. Let's work on doing something like that. We can do that. But it's going to take us time because we're not in the financial stable that they are. So this is something we got to plan. We got to work in the budget. We got to make it happen. But make it happen as a comfortable situation, not as a priority that it has to be done. Because that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And then you want to tell, girl, I'm gonna book that. We gonna do this and that. And you're sharing already what you don't know if it's gonna materialize if it is. Because you have to work for it, organize it, save for it to get it done. So I believe is that I meet people and I leave them where they're at. I share how I live my life and they share how they live their life. And I don't tell nobody how they should live their life. I don't tell nobody that you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. I don't do that. What I say to people is that I live life on life's terms. And when I say that, that means I respect the law of the land. I respect another human being. And if they choose to do the wrong thing, then that's on them. But I would share that's something that I can't do because if it goes bad, this may happen and I can't afford for this to happen because it'll take me years and years to get back to this point if I get caught up in it and mixed up in the situation. So I choose not to put myself in that situation. I'm lose too much of my time on living life on life's terms than to win the situation. So no. But if you want to do that and that's your thing, I'll give you 50 feet because if it don't work out, I don't want to have nothing to be connected to it. But that's your thing, it's not mine. I enjoy the life that recovery has given me. I enjoyed connecting with people in recovery and outside of recovery. I enjoy talking to my neighbors and sharing things with them on a daily basis when I do see them. They wave and they speak and I speak because we live all in the same area. Their children play in front of my house. So it's just like when I was growing up. Kids was having fun. Your neighbors, you knew your neighbors, you talked to them. And this is the life that I'm living around. And I'm enjoying this type of lifestyle to connect with people. But I'm not all in their business. And they're not all in my business. But we have our moments to connect. And that's living life on life's terms. That's accepting people for where they're at. And we don't have to go down the path that they go down if it's not our lifestyle. But we can respect them as a human being, treat them with respect, and stand for our goals and what we believe in. If you don't believe it, share that you don't believe in it. That's not my thing. But that's your thing. I can't do that. That get me caught out there. I mess up. Oh no, no. I ain't got it. I ain't strong like you. I can't do what you do. You got more balls than I do. And that's how I share about situations that I won't do and move forward. It doesn't mean that I don't stop caring about the person. It doesn't mean I don't stop talking to the person. I don't. But I don't put myself in their actions that they're doing. If it's not in line with my life, then I just don't do it. I don't. If you're gonna do that, check me out when another time. We can get together another time. It's not that serious. You got things that you need to do. Handle your business, and I hope it works out for you. And that's all I do. Let people be who they are, because I don't have the right, nor the knowledge, nor the understanding to know a person's mind to make sure they make the right decisions for themselves. All I can do is pay attention to yourself, do your soul searching in yourself, find out what works for you, and use it. But understand this, just because you see something a certain way doesn't mean it's the right way. But it's the choice that you've made to do it. That's it. You made the choice to go that path, and the results, time will tell. Just like I made a choice to go from active addiction to recovery. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a walk in the park. It was painful, mentally, emotionally, and physically painful. But I went through what I needed to go through, which caused me to pay attention to Robert and learn everything he can about Robert and his past and his past mistakes and the choices he made makes him understand who he is today. So, we talked about connecting with people. Connect with a person. If they're not in recovery, they're just a normal person, then respect their lifestyle. You don't have to be a part of the things that you don't agree with, but you can associate with them. And you can say, listen, I don't do this and I don't do that. So I'd appreciate if you come over. We're having this going on, but you can't come over here and do this and you can't come over there and do that. But I want you to come and be a part of the celebration. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. You stand up for the boundaries and the lifestyle that you choose to live for yourself, because your boundaries, your lifestyle is the direct vision of you living your best life. You have a great and wonderful day.